Every state in the continental United States builds basements except Florida. It is not a preference. It is not a cost decision. It is geology, hydrology, and code. Three forces that make digging 10 feet into the Florida ground one of the more reliably dangerous things a builder can attempt. The water table is the first reason. In most of Tampa Bay and central Florida, the groundwater surface sits 2 to 8 feet below grade. A standard basement requires 8 to 10 feet of excavation. In the majority of Hillsborough, Pasco, and Pinellas County residential lots, the excavation for a basement floor hits standing groundwater before the footings are even formed. The water does not drain away. It is under hydrostatic pressure from the aquifer above which the region sits. That aquifer is the Floridan Aquifer system, the same formation that drives Florida's sinkhole problem. In large areas of Tampa Bay, the aquifer is artesian. The water is under enough pressure that it rises above the aquifer formation on its own. Drill a well in Pasco County, and water comes up without pumping. In an artesian zone, a basement is not a sealed room below the water table. It is a vessel being pushed upward from beneath. Waterproofing against artesian uplift requires continuous active dewatering or structural resistance that exceeds the cost of the house above it. Florida's sandy soil creates the third failure mode. Basement excavation walls require stable, cohesive soil that holds a vertical face during construction. Florida's loose, sandy soils do not hold a vertical cut. Without continuous steel sheet piling or engineered shoring, neither standard in residential practice, the excavation walls collapse inward. The same soil that creates low bearing capacity makes deep excavation actively dangerous. FEMA flood zone regulations eliminate the option for most of Florida's coastal properties. NFIP regulations prohibit habitable space below the base flood elevation in A, E, and VE flood zones. A basement in Tampa Bay's coastal zones fills with storm surge during the event the structure was built to survive. The code does not prohibit below-grade construction in flood zones. It prohibits occupying it. The result is the same. What Florida builds instead is one of three systems matched to site conditions. Slab-on-grade is the most common. A concrete slab poured directly on the prepared ground surface, footings extending below grade at the perimeter and load-bearing points. No excavation beyond footing depth. No below-grade space. FBC R506 requires minimum 3.5 inches of concrete, compacted base material, and a 6 mil polyethylene vapor barrier between the base and the slab to block moisture migration. The stem wall system raises the floor above grade. CMU walls built on spread footings extend 18 to 24 inches above the ground surface. FBC R408 governs the underfloor space. 18 inches minimum clearance between ground and floor framing, vapor barrier on the ground surface, ventilation to prevent moisture accumulation. Stem walls are used in flood zones where elevating the first floor toward BFE is required without resorting to piling construction. Stilt and piling construction serves coastal properties where BFE requires the first floor 8 to 14 feet above grade. Concrete pilings or pressure-treated timber piles are driven to competent bearing below the loose surface layer, often into the limestone itself. The space below is unenclosed, unheated, and unoccupied. FEMA requires it to remain that way. Under ASCE 7-22, the piling system is designed for gravity loads and the lateral forces of storm surge and wave action. The pile is the only foundation type that treats the flood as a design load rather than an obstacle. The monolithic slab is Florida's most common residential foundation. The footing and the slab floor are poured as a single continuous unit. No separate stem wall, no joint. FBC R403.1 requires footings to bear on undisturbed natural soil or engineered fill at a minimum depth of 12 inches below finished grade. Florida has no frost depth. No freeze-thaw cycle, no heave. The footing depth is governed by bearing, not by frost. That is why Florida's footing goes 12 inches when Minnesota's goes 48. Florida does not have basements because the ground will not hold them, the water will fill them, and the code will not allow them where the storm surge would. The slab at your feet is not what Florida settled for. It is what Florida's ground requires. If you're building or buying in Florida, share this with your engineer before the foundation permit is filed. Subscribe for more Florida building code in plain language.